So this is the iPhone 16e and this is the iPhone 16. And I want to talk about my experience of using both of these devices and what's different. What does the iPhone 16 have that the iPhone 16e doesn't have? And at the end of the video, answer the question, which one would I choose and which one would I recommend to each and every one of you? And I want to start things off with design. So they're fairly similar, but there still are some differences. So taking a look at it from the side, they both have flat frames. However, with the iPhone 16e, it borrows the actual design build from the iPhone 14, which is why it has more of a flat frame than the iPhone 16. Whereas you can see right here, it's just a tad bit rounded, but the iPhone 16e is more flat. And honestly, it doesn't really matter too much. They're still really comfortable to hold in the hand. And if you've used past iPhone devices like the iPhone 12, 13, and even 14, then you're going to be used to using an iPhone 16e. Everything else about it fairly similar. Again, I'm going to point out just the small differences here. Taking a look at it from the back, obviously we have a dual camera setup with the iPhone 16 and a single camera setup with the iPhone 16e. We get a matte gloss finish with the 16e as well as with the iPhone 16. When we take a look at the left, we do get the action button just like the iPhone 16. And then on the right hand side, we don't get the camera control, which for me, I personally am happy that it doesn't come with camera control. I don't use it on my iPhone 16 or my iPhone 16 Pro, so it's good, at least in my opinion, that it's not here present on the iPhone 16e. And yeah, everything else about it from just like this design aspect is fairly similar. They're both iPhones. Like if you've used an iPhone 16 and you want to recommend an iPhone 16e to somebody that has used previous iPhones, like they're going to be used to it. And then display is a little bit different. So you're going to see the newer tech in the iPhone 16, which has dynamic island, and then the notch found right here with the iPhone 16. Now they are both 60 Hertz as expected, and hopefully with the iPhone 17 we're finally going to be getting a 120 Hertz display, but for the iPhone 16 and 16e we're still getting 60 Hertz. Now I feel like the iPhone 16e also has thicker bezels, and here's the thing, like I've been using the iPhone 16 and the 16 Pro, so I'm used to dynamic island, so coming back to a notch feels a little bit outdated. But again, if you have an older phone that has a notch, or if you have an iPhone SE that doesn't even have a full display, then you'll probably be used to, you'll get used to having an iPhone 16e with a notch. I mean, look at this. This would be a huge upgrade, and I will be talking about these two phones separately. But yeah, the quality on the display for both of them are good. I mean, they get the job done. You don't really need to nitpick too much into detail. I think for those who are going to pick up either of these, aren't looking for the best of the best displays anyway. If you want the best displays of an iPhone, you go for the 16 Pro and Pro Max. So just wanted to point that out there too. But for viewing content, just doing your daily thing like calling, texting, watching YouTube videos, browsing the web, social media, things like that, you won't have any problems with the display. Now moving on to the performance, both of these devices run the Apple A18 chipset. However, the iPhone 16 has a stronger GPU with one extra core, making it better for graphics. How is that going to pan out on a day-to-day basis? You're not going to notice a difference. You really aren't. I haven't noticed a difference. I'm not out there kind of putting them side by side and looking at which one performs better in games and things like that. That's not me. Like if you're going to pick up an iPhone 16e and worry about having one less core, then just pick up the iPhone 16. But I'm telling you, on a day-to-day basis, you are not going to have any problems whatsoever. Now, there are some omissions that the iPhone 16 kind of got rid of that the iPhone 16 has. And one thing the iPhone 16e doesn't have is the ultra wideband chipset, or the UWB chip. And this essentially helps with AirTags. So it doesn't include the second generation chip that's present in the iPhone 16. This enhances spatial awareness and enables precise device tracking, which helps with AirTags. And if that's something you use, if you use AirTags quite often and you want that precise tracking, maybe the iPhone 16e isn't going to be for you. But everything else about the performance and the software too, because they're both running iOS 18 and you can get the same amount of software updates. You're not going to have any problems whatsoever. If you're looking for Apple Intelligence, they both have it, but at this point, I feel like Apple's been rushing Apple Intelligence. They're not pushing out all their features, and now the whole revamped Siri is delayed until like next year. It's just it's a whole different story and a whole different video topic that I just don't even want to get into, but it's there if you want it. So that's what I have to say about the performance. They're pretty much on par. The cameras are where things are a little bit different. And here's the thing. You get a dual camera setup with the iPhone 16 and then a single camera setup with the iPhone 16e, which I personally like only because it kind of makes the back of the phone feel more minimalistic, more clean. But the results are pretty good on, the iPhone 16e. Comparing it to the iPhone 16, they are almost the same, but not really. Now, the iPhone 16e has a main 48 megapixel camera, but the lens itself is not the same 48 megapixel lens found in the iPhone 16. It's a smaller lens, so it's not going to perform as great in low lit conditions. But again, I don't think anyone who's picking up the iPhone 16e is gonna be like looking for the best of the best of camera quality. It's still good, but it's obviously not on par with the iPhone 16, and it's a dual camera setup, so you're also getting ultra wide as well. And on top of that, if you really care about camera control, you do get that. So the more you pay for an iPhone, the more versatility, the more options you are getting with cameras. But again, results are still good on the iPhone 16. Now, regardless of either phone, if you pick up either one of these and you want to start making content, and I talk about this in pretty much every single one of my videos, or at least I try to, but if you're going to make content and you pick up one of these phones, they are going to perform very well both for photos and for videos, especially if you want to start kicking off your content, whether it's here on YouTube or it's like short form on Instagram, TikTok, or whatever it may be. These are both really good phones to do that. However, obviously, the more you pay for an iPhone and the more pro you go, then the more you're going to get with camera quality and versatility and things like that. Just do keep that in mind. Now let's get to the battery life. I think this is the one thing where the iPhone 16e excels, at least in the battery life, like how long it lasts. And yeah, this easily gets me well into the second day. The iPhone 16, it's still really good, but by the end of the day, I do have to end up charging the phone. So that's just something a little bit upsetting. However, this has MagSafe, so I can easily throw on a MagSafe accessory. I can throw on I can put on a MagSafe wireless charger. I can throw it on a MagSafe charger if I want to do that, but the iPhone 16e doesn't have that capability. I have a MagSafe wallet, so what I like to do is just like to throw it on there. Voila, there you go. With the iPhone 16e, you don't have that. It has, it kind of connects, but it doesn't really stick on there, and you can't throw like a magnetic wireless power bank, or you can't throw it on a MagSafe charger. Now, some may argue just pick up a case. Well, there are a lot of people that use their phones caseless. I know many people who use their iPhone 16 or even older iPhones that have MagSafe without a case. They just like using their phones without a case, and I totally understand that. And sometimes I like to use my phone without a case, especially like if I'm indoors, like if I'm at home, I'm in my studio, or I'm like in the living room or whatever. I take off my case and I just adore the phone and its color. Like I picked this iPhone 16 because I really like this color. This is why I chose this specific color, because I really like the ultramarine. Same thing goes for this one. I like this color over the white iPhone 16e. So there is no MagSafe and there is no Qi 2 wireless charging, so it's not the faster wireless charging that's present on other devices as well. So, it's not going to be, it's kind of missing out on battery and charging features, but the overall battery life is definitely going to be much better than iPhone 16. The price, however, is cheaper. with those emissions, it's going to be a little bit cheaper at $599. That's still up there, $600 versus $799 for the iPhone 16. And at this point, we're used to the iPhone 16 price tag, like the base iPhone price tag of $799. But for a 16e to kind of fit in the same family with those omissions for $599, it's going to be a tough sell. But I know regardless, Apple's going to be selling a lot of these. However, I think if this was priced at $499, it would have been a much, much better deal. And that's going to kind of bring me to my final thoughts. I like both of these phones, I really do. But in the end, which one would I choose? It's probably going to be the iPhone 16. And for me, the reason is, like, I will go ahead and pay the extra $200 to get a little bit more of camera versatility for the ultra wide. I've been using ultra wide cameras on my phones more and more as of late. So not having that on the iPhone 16e is kind of a bummer. It does make sense, but again, it's still kind of a bummer. Now, the iPhone 16e, I think, is a phone that everyone can use. It will take care of everything a person needs to take care of when using a phone. However, this does not offer everything we want in a phone. And that's why we pick up better models. That's why we go with sometimes the pros or the ultras of phones, because we want to get what we want in those phones. This one offers everything we need, and I think everyone can survive an iPhone 16. I'll be honest, 16e. I'll be honest with you. But if you want more, you're going to get the iPhone 16. And I think this is the phone I'm going to be recommending over the iPhone 16e. However, if this dropped to $499, then I would switch back. I mean, look, I think MagSafe as well as an omission is, like, for me, and for a lot of other people who are not in the tech world, they really care about MagSafe. Like, my friends and my family care about MagSafe, and they think this is just a not so great omission. And also the chipset, the ultra wideband chip, that's not included in here, because I also have a lot of people who use an AirTag, so not having that is kind of a bummer. Everything else, having one less core with the Apple A18 chipset is fine. Having this notch of a display is okay, like, you get used to it. So everything else about it is okay, but those omissions, for me at least, it's going to be a little bit difficult to move on. So I'm going to be using the iPhone 16, and I'm going to be recommending the iPhone 16 over the 16e. I don't believe, for anyone who says this is a budget phone, it's not. $600 by no means is not a budget phone. Yes, it's cheaper than $800, but it's not a budget phone in and of itself. If you want to pick up a renewed, like, iPhone 15 Pro, I think you can find that for, like, the $500, $600 range, around the same price as iPhone 16e. Go for that, because that also, it has MagSafe, it has Apple Intelligence, it has a triple camera setup, it has the A17 Pro. Like, it has all of these things for around the same price. And I think overall you're getting a better package with a renewed 15 Pro over this iPhone 16e. Don't get me wrong though, this is still a great phone, and I've talked about it in one of my previous videos. I think for those who are looking to get the iPhone SE, I think the demographic is mainly those who are upgrading from really old iPhones who just don't really care about having the best of the best, or iPhone SE users. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, definitely be sure to superman the like button, comment down below, and best of all, share this video, because it really does help out the channel out a lot. It will help push my content out to more people. Definitely be sure to check out my latest wallpaper pack. It is called Color Blast. I'll be leaving a link in the description down below. It really does go a long way in helping out the channel. That's been it from me. Let's work together to reach our goal here on the channel for 60,000 subscribers by the end of 2025. I hope you all enjoyed. I'll catch you guys in the next video.